sometimes feel that the basic, and you know how focused we are, how granular we are, right, as a company. I somehow feel that always gets overshadowed. लोग बोलते हैं अच्छा तुम वहाँ पे 3 इवेंट में थे, अच्छा तुमने वहाँ पे उसको पिच किया, आपने जैसे बोला तुमने पुशअप किया वो तो मजे में किया पुशअप, बट उससे पहले हम काम ही कर रहे थे 18-19 घंटे. So I think that gets overshadowed, and I somehow always try to, when people reach out to me and they say that हम एक ये कर लें, हम जाके पैसा रेस कर लें, बोलता हूँ मतलब no, just be granular, just sit in office and kind of work for 18 hours a day, because there are no two ways about it. So I somehow am also kind of trying to tell people these days that okay, this is all great, and maybe my thing is that when people are saying force of nature, thank you so much, but I want people to say that he's also very granular, he's also very focused, he knows his numbers in and out. I know all my input metrics to my output metrics and entire funnel, like for all of my businesses, for all of my different channel wise split, like to my heart. And I think that is more important than being a force of nature. And maybe both of those things maybe go together, and you know.
And sometimes I feel ki, you know, see, as you get bigger, obviously you cannot be as in granular control of everything, because then you become the lid on the.
I think yet it's important in some sense still to
agree.
Be very.
I just think you need to probably hand over those responsibilities to people who are better than you.
Of course.
But then you have a handle on them, because otherwise if you're running 1,000 people and everybody reports to you, right? And I've seen those entrepreneurs, by the way. I've seen those entrepreneurs, lot of small businesses that run this way, that from the front door to the finance is all managed by one person.
But I'll double click there for like just one more minute. वहाँ पे my view is that suppose अगर 10 DRs आपके 10 direct reports हैं, तो भले ही आपने responsibility इनको दे दी और वो पूरा का पूरा रन कर रहे हैं, बट क्योंकि आप कंज्यूमर को इतना डीपली समझते हो, उसके मतलब नस नस से वाकिफ हो, तो भले ही वो आदमी / औरत that very capable, better than you leader will be able to do 90% things better than you.
Of course.
There's still going to be that 5%, 10% that will be oblivious to everybody else in the room, and that only you can look at. And somehow, always.
And that is always the entrepreneurial ability, right? Because you've run it.
And then you're going to just look at those 10% for those 10 people, which is still going to make up 100%. Because पर जो वो वैल्यू ऐड आएगा ना, वो उसके बिना आएगा नहीं, आपकी मेहनत के बिना. अगर आप सोचोगे कि मैं अभी मेरा हो गया, मैं बैठ गया, अब मैं इवेंट में जाके बात करूंगा, तो उससे नहीं होने वाला. तो वो 10% सबको उठाना भी जरूरी है, क्योंकि then that person will also respect you. वो नहीं तो बोलेगा मैं तो कर ही रहा हूँ काम, यार तू क्या वैल्यू ऐड कर.
Yeah, in fact, my mentor used to always say that, like you always check at the bottom level. You keep persons at the top level, but go back and check at the bottom level to make sure that whatever is being decided, whatever that is being talked about in the boardroom, is it actually happening on Main Street, right? And that will tell you what is wrong with whatever has been implemented.
Correct.
Because there is a bit of Chinese whispers. ना आपने शायद ऊपर में 100 बोला होगा, नीचे आते तो 20 हो चुका है, right? But वो 80 कहाँ गायब हुआ? That will tell you where the organization is weak, where the pipes are leaking effectively.
And very interestingly, I think the mission part connects to this, because I was also I just recalled, I'll digress for 30 seconds again. मैं आकाश के घर पे था, education company, Behemoth, and he and another private equity firm together have bought VLCC.
अच्छा.
And private equity firm के 5-6 लोग थे, उनका नाम नहीं लूँगा, और 2-3 और एक और private equity firm के लोग थे जो potentially deal को देख रहे थे, और आकाश थे, because he has had a payday and he was kind of buying this company, VLCC. And तो आकाश बोर्डरूम आए, मुझे उनके घर पे था एक इवेंट के लिए, तो मुझे उनकी छत पे था, मुझे बता रहे थे कि बोर्डरूम में घुसे, उन्होंने बोला कि तुम में से VLCC यूज़ कितने लोगों ने किया है. एक बंदे ने नहीं किया. बोले भाई मैं कल VLCC यूज़ करके आया हूँ पूसा रोड वाले स्टोर पे, ये वो करते हैं, सबसे महंगा पैकेट लेते 40,000 रुपये का, कि उनका मसाज में ये कमी है, ये वाले प्रोडक्ट में ये कमी है, यहाँ पे ये है, यहाँ पे ये लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं, उनका सर्विस लेवल ऐसा है, उनका प्रोडक्ट लेवल ऐसा है, उनका टैट ऐसा था, उनका जो ओपनिंग आवर था वो 1 घंटा लेट था, उनका जो इवनिंग आवर था वो 1 घंटा और हो सकता था मार्केट में जहाँ पे उनका स्टोर था उसके हिसाब से. सो दैट granularity, like that was so important, and somehow that was completely missing from the room, and that added so much value even though it was something so normal. So I think that needs to kind of come through only when you're kind of really obsessing about the customer satisfaction, customer's happiness, and the fact that you really care about the only way to build a sustainable business in the longer run is if the customer keeps coming back, they keep talking about it.
Absolutely.
So then you need to be obsessive about that.
You have to be. There's no doubt about that. In fact, there is another example. The VLCC, I won't name the company. We were doing DD on somebody. And when we were sitting in the conference room, they promised me all kinds of things कि हम ये करते हैं, वो करते हैं, फलाना ठिकाना है, VLCC is a.
You are great at spotting these things.
Right. So I said कि चलो, I took my team, ऐसे काम करते हैं, let's go stand at VLCC, देखते हैं हो क्या रहा है.
Wonderful.
Right. We went there and then and वो देखे कि ऐसे कोई randomly कोई बैठा होगा तो उन्होंने बुला लिया अंदर कि आप अब आई जाओ. तो we figured out कि what the product was being sold to us in the boardroom was not the product being sold to VLCC clients. Two different products being sold. Product was being sold, but two different segments altogether. So we went back and we said,
It goes back to what your mentor said.
yeah, exactly. You have to, you'll find all the issues. Like for us, even Oyo at one point, right, was I actually used to go and do the testing, walked there, and sometimes you would figure out कि ये गलत हो रहा है, ये सही हो रहा है. And then getting that back to the entrepreneur, especially at that early building phase when you've got that first level of team going, so important, especially as an investor. I think even in leverage, we keep trying to do this. कि यार एक दो जगह से किसी ना किसी को एज अ फेक कस्टमर घुसा देते हैं ताकि मालूम पड़े कि एग्जैक्टली चल क्या रहा है.
इस पे मेरे को एक बहुत अच्छा फीडबैक मिला था फ्रॉम वन ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स हु सेड दैट एंड आई डिड दिस अबाउट 2 years बैक. ही सेड he told me to set up a third party ombudsman of sorts which will directly report into me.
हाँ.
And which directly kind of does this जो आप बोल रहे हो, does this for a living. एक टीम नीचे. So we have a student success team, and now it's also called the partner
mystery
success
shopping
team.
basically.
Mystery shopping of sorts. And उससे मतलब पता चलता रहता है कि कैसे improve करना है. And then there's somebody in my office now who kind of only works at how do we kind of keep elevating the level of a service. Like that's their only job. ऐसे भी नहीं कि एक दिन में पूरा मतलब किला फतेह कर देंगे, but एक महीने में 2 चीज़ें उठाई और उस पर improve किया, अगले महीने 2 चीज़ें उठाई उस पर improve किया.
And the value of that is cannot be even quantified. I think so. As a founder, definitely, if you go back to even like someone like Richard Branson, and he talks about it in his book that when people would land into London, right, and they were using Virgin, he would personally call each and every first class passenger himself and try to understand ki how was your journey, and that's what would tell him what was wrong or right with what was going on in the flight. Right, at his level, why does he have to call anybody? He has a CEO, he has an entire organization.
That guy's audacious as hell, yeah. I remember seeing one of these first interviews when he was starting the airline, and he was in a TV because he already had this music company, right, Virgin Records. And somebody said, hey, Richard Branson, he's starting an airline. Can you tell the audience how many planes you have? He said 1. And everybody was laughing at him and like, look at him.
Can you imagine that first plane at takeoff also caught fire?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a true story. First plane at takeoff caught fire. Right, and this is a known story, and how he still turned that around and made that into a global airline. So sometimes it's not about where you start; it's about why you started and how you made it.
And you're at it.
Yeah, just keep at it.